Throughout the ages, there have been heroes and warriors who have embarked on quests to save faraway lands and free the people from would-be conquerors. Today, legends are told from the tales of our terrible warriors. Chronicles of an unlikely group of nerdy adventurers armed only with their dice, some pretty stupid ideas, and a horseshoe up their butt as they come together to save the day in the Cakebread Chronicles. Seriously? You couldn't find anyone better?
Welcome back to the Cakebread Chronicles here on our Summer of One-Shots. I am your player for this afternoon. I am Mike the Birdman Dodd from thisweekingeek.net, but I'm not alone as I trek into the trenches of the First World War in an alternate history. I am joined with
the other player, Mr. Tristan,
and our first-time game master, storyteller, GM, whatever you want to call him, master of ceremonies,
Alex.
Say MC Alex. Word up, dog.
Word up.
So yes, we are trying out something new here on the Summer of One-Shots. If you don't know what the Summer of One-Shots is here on Twig, what it is, or on Twig, sorry, on Cakebread Chronicles rather, we're trying out new systems and new adventures so that basically we try out new systems but also tell different stories, but also get other people ready to step into the role of Game Master so we can have, well, different experiences here on the show. I mean, who knows, maybe if this goes particularly well, maybe Tristan will try his hand at jamming at some point.
It just might happen.
So I'm excited for this. This is Alex's first time. We're trying out the system, if you heard in our last episode, which was called OneDice WW1 with some of the serial numbers filed off.
Correct. Some, if not many, serial numbers filed off.
So basically, we're going to go through Alex's scenario here, and we're going to try and be as respectful as we can to the historical accuracy of the First World War, but Alex has a clever way around that, and I'm not going to spoil too much more than that. So I'm going to throw things over to Alex as he takes us to the world of his creation with me, Jack and James, our two characters.
J and J.
J and J. I feel like we should be going blasting off again. Team Rocket!
I never thought of creating a little mascot character to go with you guys.
Oh, Jen, please create something weird and stupid.
A little, yeah. I was trying to think of what should we call this whole scenario campaign episode, and I was thinking probably going to call it the Great Warring 20s.
I like that.
That's really clever.
Yeah, that is clever as shit.
But why? We need the story.
Exactly. Okay.
Set us up.
So, everything up until 1918 in the war has happened the way it always happened in real life history, except when it came time to sit down and sign the armistice and end the war. At that summit, everything went dark. And by what I mean by everything went dark, as in, as far as anybody could tell, everybody died while signing. So we're going to flash forward a little bit here. This is as to what you guys already know as players in this world. Everything went dark. The war continued on. We are now 2 years after that. It is now 1920, and the war has come stateside. So the last you heard, Halifax and Boston had already fallen. So the ports are now controlled. But by the opposing force.
Oh, wow. So that means the St. Lawrence Seaway's cut off. Most of the eastern board shipping has been cut off.
All of North America is back on its heels at this point.
Pretty much, yeah, because the only way goods can come in is on the Pacific.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Correct. And those routes at this time, remember, California is new. This is 1920. We're talking Hollywood system doesn't really exist yet. Vancouver and all this is like the railroads are there. The infrastructure is there to get things. But the shipping routes aren't really there yet.
Yeah, like we're still doing fur trading at this point.
Like a lot of the supplies for out west are still something that would come in through Boston or Halifax and move its way westward using trains. So that whole supply chain is not in place yet that we're used to today. as far as that goes, the States is in disarray.
Understandably so.
We're talking multiple states have formed factions and are revolting in that it's almost a civil war. They've sort of gone back to the Union States where you've got different groups sort of huddling together because they're needing their own resources because they're cut off from the world's trade supply.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're trying to figure out what way is best to militarize themselves, because what happened in the last 2 years is the main force of the military all moved together up into the Northeast when the foreigners landed.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as they know, they've lost. They've lost the main ports. They've lost the main battles concisely every single time.
Oh, wow.
And they don't know why.
So there's still a front happening.
There is a front. There's basically a no man's zone where nobody goes beyond. And the governments of both the States and Canada have had to move a little bit of their point of operations. The front is now Toronto in Canada and New York City in the States. So that is basically where you go when you're being deployed, when you're fighting. That is the main bastion, the last line before you hit mainland. Because if you remember, this is before, the highway systems were the way they were.
Yeah.
You basically had to go through those cities, and they are still port cities. So any trade that we have is through there, but they still can't get farther beyond.
So cities like Montreal have also fallen.
Quebec is all dispersed, and it's not a every man for himself, but you're in a situation where there isn't really government control. It could be city by city is ruled either by the Allies
or the bad guys,
the foreign powers.
Precisely.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's for all intents and purposes, the government is viewing it as lost at this time, and we're on the defensive.
Okay.
All they know is some weapon has been used, and it's making things increasingly more difficult. And from what they can tell, it's something similar to the mustard gas that was used earlier. So that's sort of what you have going into this. You've both been through your basic training. Your character, Michael, has done a little more because you've done sniper specialization training.
Yeah.
But you haven't actually been to the front. You're both privates. You're pretty much right out of the academy.
Yeah, I lied about my age. So I'm a kid.
You're a kid. You're basically a kid, but you look a little older for your age, and you've seen a lot of shit. So that's the basic thing that you've known up until this point. Now, you both receive a letter saying that you have to report to the Guelph Armory, which is sort of the next. You're not quite at the front in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have, it's the next sort of military base that is a stronghold that we know we have secured. And you're being sent there for briefings on what your missions are going to be and what you're going to do. You don't know why. It's just the letter, it's signed and it has a general's signature and everything on it, but it just says you're going to meet your contact, Mr. English, for whatever that means.
Okay, well,
All right.
ours is not the question why. Ours is about the do and die. So
Precisely. So you show up in the building, which is the Guelph Armory. I'm not going to have to describe it. It's your armory. It's your classic fort armory from like the 1800s.
Built as
so
a
the big
fortress.
stone walls,
Trellises, etc.
etc. It's of the time. Doesn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. But you go in the back door, and you're led down a corridor, and then down a couple floors into a briefing room. There's only two of you there. A projector turns on with slides, and you hear through a speaker, which is still new technology, fairly new at this point, but you hear through a speaker, Mr. English speak to you. Now, I'm going to give you background. Mr. English will be the only person you really get in contact with from this point onward. You're going to get your mission, and you're going to move on from there. So I'll tell you that now.
all right.
So Mr. English speaks up and says, "Okay, boys, you're probably wondering what you're doing here. You've been selected for a special mission for a new group per se. This is a joint civilian, military, and mounted police federal team. So for anybody, for metagaming purposes, think a precursor to the CIA, CSIS, that sort of it's an interoperational clandestine team that would work. So you're spies, basically. You're precursor to James Bond, that sort of thing. you're that deal.
Operating outside of the normal constraints and hierarchy of military and other government organizations.
Correct. Mr. English then states, you probably want to know what's been going on with this war so far and what has led everything to this point. Why are you here? So at the peace signing agreement, a gas was released, but it wasn't mustard gas. It killed both sides and everybody signing, all of the leaders that were there, which is why we're sort of in this chaos predicament that we are right now. What happened was the gas made their skin boil and bubble, and they almost immediately died. We're talking like a 10-second incubation period before you're dead.
Some pretty serious stuff, sir.
Correct.
Sounds nasty.
Correct. But you might have heard that from Rumours up until this point. What nobody else will have told you and has been classified until now is that's not the end. They didn't die.
What do you mean they didn't die? You just said they died.
Well, sort of. They sort of died. They stopped becoming responsive. But after their skin boiled and bubbled, they went mad and ate each other.
They what, sir?
They started to eat each other.
So it drives you right up the wall.
As far as we can tell, completely mad crazy.
Oh, so...
No reasoning, no way of coming down, no rhyme or reason whatsoever. Completely stark raving mad to the point of cannibalism.
So what do you want us to do about it?
Oh, goody. This sounds like fun, sir.
I don't really feel like eating anyone.
We've sent recon and intel to figure out who did it, because it affected both sides. We've now learned that it was a ploy by our enemy. I'm going to say that enemy very loosely. To create a complete distrust of both sides.
So an unknown third faction, sir?
Very possible. We don't have a lot of information on that. What we do have is that we believe the chemical was being manufactured on our side.
So we got some traitors?
Not that we know of. We think it was a private institution.
Huh.
So what are we supposed to do about it? There's just two of us.
We've recently learned that about 1 kilometer or 2 north of Owen Sound, there's
my eyes go wide at this.
because you said you were from there. That there was a facility that was constructed to help make chemicals for, and I'm going to say for plastic,
they actually did ship a lot of concrete up there.
Yeah,
so,
concrete, plastic. It was basically a raw materials
port, yeah.
Raw materials manufacturing and port for the war effort. But their output seemed to be larger than what was on the books that was being shipped to the front line. And as far as we can tell, the corporation, it was just called Delta Prime. It led to a shell company, to a shell company, to a shell company, to a shell company. We can't figure out who actually owns this company, but we didn't make, any qualms about it. We didn't question it because they were supplying us at fair rates. with supplies for the war effort. So you're being sent to investigate the building and see what was actually being built there, if there's any plans there, if there's anything nefarious going on at all. But we can't do this in an official capacity because they're technically an ally and somebody right for the war effort.
So basically, y'all want me to blend in back home.
You'll know the lay of the land. Plus, you have your skills as a scout sniper. If something needs to be taken care of, you can do so. We've also got your colleague to your right.
I signed up for this war to crack some skulls. What am I going to do sneaking around here?
You can protect my dumb ass, because I ain't getting anywhere near a gas that turns into a bloody ghoul.
Pretty much.
All right. When do we ship out?
Tomorrow. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it,
I had to say it if no one else did.
Is to basically infiltrate the facility and gather any intel you can on anything out of the ordinary in there. Anything that wouldn't be part of a normal manufacturing facility making products for the war effort for us.
All right. Well, Jack, you're a rough and tumble sort of guy, right?
I get to bloody some knuckles. I think I'll be happy anyway.
Oh, you'll love Owen Sound then. It's basically a drunken sailor sort of town. Nice ports, lots of whores, houses of ill repute. It's a good old time.
Houses of what now?
I was going to say,
ill repute.
You see lots of whores' houses of ill repute?
Oh yeah, Owen Sound is nothing but whore houses and everything else you can imagine.
Oh, I thought you said horse houses.
Well, some of them.
If you're into that sort of thing, I'm sure you could find someone. Maybe one of the madams will hook you up.
Oh, boy.
Looks like we got ourselves an afternoon anyway. I got an idea. We can maybe hide up on the bluffs. Maybe get a telescope and take a look at the place that we're trying to get into. And
I'll leave the ideas to you. Tell me who to hit and where to hit them.
Anybody who's bigger than me is a good start, I'm thinking here. So I guess, Mr. English, I presume our time is due with until tomorrow is our own?
That is correct. You're going to be provided in front of you with your basic kits. There's a sniper rifle, which...
my Ross rifle.
Your Ross rifle. And he's got a club. Wait, I was being directed as he has a club / stabby stab.
I didn't decide on
Dr. Stab.
a club or a knife, but I'm going to go with the knife.
You're going to go with the knife?
Trench
okay.
knife.
So, because it wasn't sure if it was going to be brass knuckles or a knife. So you're going to go with a trench knife?
Yep.
So you're provided with a trench knife.
All right, now we're talking.
You're going in very, very limited with your resources because this is off the books.
I presume you'd like a low body count to 0?
If possible. If not...
Discretionary?
Exactly.
Okay, so don't do it if we don't need to. Okay.
Correct. And the only other item you have on the table is a walkie-talkie, which is a new technology. Explain that this talking device would allow you to keep in communication with myself, Mr. English, and whatever team I have. It's short distance, so we will be in the vicinity, but don't expect any help. If you are caught, you'll be disavowed and likely die.
So this sounds like a fun afternoon.
I like my odds.
Yeah, goody. Well, sir, you can count on us.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I guess I'll pick up my Ross rifle. I have my sidearm, which is a Mauser C36, or 9.6, sorry. Basically Han Solo's blaster for those of you that want a visual. And it's in Call of Duty World War II. Yeah, so I'm going to grab my kit, say, I have a feeling this is going to be almost completely useless because I'm not supposed to kill people. But I'm not liking where we're going with this, Jack, truthfully told.
I don't like the idea of turning into a cannibal. I like to beat people up sometimes, but I don't want to eat them.
Yeah, no, I'm so not into this. But you know what? To serve Queen and country. That's why we're here.
Gotta do the right thing. I like this life of mine.
All right, so I guess we'll go back to the barracks.
Yep, you're going to go back to barracks.
I'd like to get a map of Owen Sound, or basically the surrounding Grey Bruce area.
Sure, you can go right ahead.
So the rail goes up that way. I know that for sure. I don't know. We'll just say the rail's there. As far as I know, it is.
I was going to say, because you guys can decide which route you want to take to go there.
Well,
you can go. This is 1920. You could do horseback if you wanted to. You could go via a vehicle, but you're not going to be driven up using a military anything that's marked that way.
Yeah, this is completely off the
So
books.
you could do horse and buggy. You could do that. You could go by train.
but say, I don't know, we could just hide in plain sight. I mean, I can't exactly hide a rifle. Well, I was
going to say,
I could break it down.
I can make a suggestion. You may not want train if you're carrying a rifle.
Well, we could be soldiers coming home from the front.
That's very true.
So, but I'm thinking, maybe.
So train's out. We
Yeah.
want to kind of stay out of the limelight here.
Yeah, maybe going up by horseback, maybe the best idea.
Yeah, let's go with the horses.
This way, if I got a rifle slung over my back, it don't look too out of the ordinary. It's just a hunter and his buddy just coming home.
Okay.
Plus, I'll blend in up there, and I kind of point to the color of my skin, saying, I'm going back to home territory if you catch my drift.
I'm going with you to learn a few things about hunting from one of the pros.
So, all right, yeah, we'll go up as just a couple of hunters.
Okay, so that's what you're going to do? You're going to sort of blend in?
Yeah, take horses, blend in as a hunter and someone learning to become a hunter.
I was going to say smart move that you're not using military uniforms or anything. You're
Yeah,
going in.
no.
It's a clandestine affair, so...
Going with our good old civvies, more or less. So I'm thinking, guess we'll go to the barracks, we'll get our kits, we'll break it down in just basic backpacks.
Yep.
My rifle will be assembled. I'll have my sidearm under my clothes.
Okay.
And fur hats, and I'll look
fur hat with the little flaps at the side?
with the flaps at the side. Look as ridiculous. Actually, what time of year is it?
It is, we're going to say February. It's cold.
Okay.
So lots of snow, so horseback's probably a good idea.
Okay,
So-
Because remember the vehicles.
Yeah, winters get brutal up where I'm from.
in the spirit of learning from the pro here and blending in, I'm going to try to match what he's wearing as closely as possible. Because I'm taking some tips from the guy.
As long as the winter gloves allow you to punch good.
Exactly.
Say, actually, that's a good idea. Put brass knuckles in your mitts.
I'll
never see it
You
coming.
know what? Fine, I'll allow it. That's not a problem.
Beauty.
Why are your hands so heavy, sir? Yeah, hell of a grip. So that's a pretty good idea. We'll leave first thing in the morning. We'll probably get there sometime during the night. We'll go find ourselves at Jason's Hotel, I believe, is the main place, or we call it the Bucket of Blood. And,
Sounds like my kind of place.
oh, believe me, you'll blend right in. Just for the love of Christ, keep them off my ass. There's always a few knuckle draggers looking to take on a couple of us Redskins, so just be the way it is, unfortunately. But hey, we can't go flashing any sort of military ID. So.
Nope.
You've
Gotta
got nothing.
blend in.
You are given nothing but your weapons and the singular walkie-talkie.
Did they give us any spending money?
No.
Oh boy.
This is supposed to be as
When I'm
a
quick
quick in and out.
In
You're
and
not
out.
really supposed to interact with anybody. You're ghosts in the night, essentially.
I'm gonna look at Jack but say, well, you're not from Owen Sound, but I am, so I might get recognized. So
Just keep
my-
to the outskirts, keep to the shadows. Let's not really talk with too many people here.
I am actually, since I am a proud native, I'm gonna cut my hair
Okay.
so I don't look as native at the time.
See, I thought for a second you're saying, because I'm a proud native, I'm going to wear my headdress and
No.
in battle.
I'm gonna blend in completely.
No, I don't think they would have. I'm not sure at this time whether they would have allowed haircuts like that, but I'm gonna say I've got a ponytail and I'm cutting it.
I'm going to say the military probably wouldn't have allowed that at that time.
Okay,
Even
fair.
by then. You might have been allowed to have a mohawk if it was one of those short ones. But then again...
I'll shave my head.
Then again,
I want to look as
knowing
inconspicuous
that
as
the
possible.
military at this point was very British oriented,
Mhm.
you weren't.
I
I'm gonna
wasn't
say,
treated different.
You weren't a savage. I'm saying in quotes, like that was just part of the thing. Like in the 1800s when they joined, they just let them wear whatever they wanted and gave them a gun.
Yeah.
No, if you're part of the actual military, you would have had to have a military haircut.
So, I'll shave my head. Just go down.
No, you could have had a goatee or whatever.
Yeah, I'll shave whatever facial hair I have, and I'm just gonna wear my best clothes so I look like a hunter, but not like the traditional off the reservation native.
Okay.
I
not from
realize I'm
around.
assimilating.
I've been through basic training and all that other fun stuff, so I've already got all my military haircut. So I'm just gonna stay as is. I'm not from around Owen.
You just look like a bulldog.
Pretty much. Not much hair. Don't really need it.
However, before we decide to go up, we should have ourselves a little night on the town. And you might be surprised what people might say. Let's go down to the local watering hole. Let's see what kind of news is coming out of Owen Sound, because people are bound to pass going down going down the main thoroughfare down to Toronto. Someone's bound to have heard something local. You never know.
Very true. So,
All right.
I'm not familiar with what bars were here. We'll just say it was Ye Old Bar and
Ye Old Bar and Tavern.
Ye Old
As everyone
Stomping
knows,
Grounds.
Owen Sound
bring
is
it
well
back.
known for its
Well,
old English.
I would imagine you're not up in Owen Sound yet. You're still in
Yeah,
Guelph.
we got to
so
travel.
So you're gonna see, people that have been coming in and out is what you're looking for.
Yeah, basically going for the travelers type bar.
So do you want to hit the
basically.
Legion, even though that
Yeah.
wasn't made until the Legion was made to honor people from World War One. So, but still, let's
What
say
would become
a
something
prototype Legion is what you're going to.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Just
Where
sort
it's-
of see what
where
people
it
are saying.
has veterans and different people in there. Okay, so you walk in, and there's the bar. It's got the barkeep is just another. I would say he's a vet. He's got one arm, but he's still bartending and doing it all cocktail styles. Flipping it all. No.
Kind of
he's-
newfangled
no,
crap
he's
is
got-
this?
He's got Canadian whiskey, and that's it. Just Canadian whiskey.
All right.
You've got it. In fact, he actually has a sign above, and it just says drinks.
Canadian only.
It just says drinks. Whiskey, whiskey, whiskey. Stop asking. It's the last part. It's also stop asking.
If you don't like it, don't drink it.
Yeah.
All right, then. So I guess we'll have a seat down at the bar.
Yeah, let's go sit up at the bar and see what's what.
Who do we see around us?
It's fairly sparse right now because people are being deployed left and right. There's an old passed out drunk, and we're talking, he's in his 70s. He's fought in whatever war was happening in the late 1800s, and he's one of those guys that has an ear horn. You're probably not getting much out of him.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it right now, except for the bartender who's sort of cleaning up, and I say cleaning up in quotes because he's using a dirty rag to just
Move some dirt around.
This is pre a lot of people knowing about hygiene, right? So he's thinking, now the alcohol will clean it, spits in a cup and rubs it. So he's sort of setting up because it's 11 in the morning because you just come down. You were just briefed, remember?
Yeah.
So you were briefed at, let's say, 9 in the morning. It's about nearly 11, so he's not even really open yet. But, old Cyrus, the drunk with the ear horn, he must have slept there last night.
Oh boy, I'm gonna go up to the barkeep. Do I know this particular barkeep?
I would say you don't know him. You've seen him in that you've been to the bar a few times since you went through basic and you've gone through the city. But you're not on a first name basis with him.
Okay, I'm gonna politely sit down at the bar and I'm gonna kind of tap my finger for his attention.
What can I do you for?
Well, whiskey, first off.
Make it 2.
2 whiskeys coming right up.
And I'm going to say, just over the last few days, have you heard anything coming out of the north? Like anybody having any conversations or anything of interest?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe heading home after I just got a little bit of shore leave. And going back home up to Owen Sound, just kind of curious to see if there's anything exciting going on back home. Kind of wonder if anybody's passed through and maybe said anything.
Well, but not. You wouldn't be interested in that.
I'm always interested in knowing what's going on back home. I haven't been home in like a year.
Well, it's more rumor and innuendo than anything.
Oh, now you had my interest before, and now you've got my attention.
Well, we hear that workers go up. Those, down on their luck. Those that aren't healthy enough to fight in the front. They go for work, and a lot of them don't really come back. So we just assume that they're employed, but their family comes looking for them, and they said they haven't heard from them. And this is happening off and on with many different people.
I know Owen sounds a rough place to live, especially when you get down at the tent cities where all the poor people live, but not hearing from them, that's a little strange.
It seems a little odd, but people moving. The reason I only say that, it's rumor and innuendo. Something I've heard that it's odd, but with times being what they are, people moving around all the time now, it's not unheard of for people to just up and leave and then start a new life somewhere else.
Probably ashamed that they couldn't just go fight in the war. Wimps.
But I don't know, something.
Does anybody ever come in here recruiting people?
No, that's the odd thing. They just seem to.
Just know.
They just get told. I got a letter in the mail saying I got a new job, and I'm told to report up north.
Well, look at Jack. I get a letter in the mail. You know where I'm thinking we should go after we finish a couple of rounds of whiskey?
The mailroom?
I'm kind of thinking so. Let's trace this back.
To the post office.
To the most exciting campaign ever.
To the mail depository.
The bartender just watching them talking like, you need anything else?
I'm gonna say, I don't know. What do you got to eat around here? Whiskey.
I was going to say, Michael, there's no shawarma place in 1920, unfortunately.
Sure, what?
Say, I don't even know what they would have ate back. I guess
hamburgers and steak.
And stews, yeah.
Hardtack.
It would have been hard. No, it would have been. No, there's steakhouses, that sort of thing. But that's
a little bit above our pay grade.
Yeah.
We're eating that mutton meat that comes out of our MREs.
No, there's. You could go to a diner basically.
All right.
Because don't forget, this is when all those diners really started exploding. So.
Okay, I'm like, all right, thank you, barkeep. We'll see you whenever I come back from leave.
Yeah, whatever. He says that's what they all say.
Oh, there's a guy sleeping on your floor, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. So, if we go to the post office, we might be able to find out where these are coming from. At least get a name anyway.
All right.
So
I'll follow your lead.
All right. I guess we'll we'll dress in our
civvies.
Yeah, and we'll head down to the post office.
Okay.
Looking for the postmaster.
Or could I make a suggestion that you just maybe check him the outgoing mail? Because the postmaster's probably not there.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah, we'll check the outgoing mail. We're looking for where the largest volumes are coming from. So if they're coming from Owen Sound, looking for a common name or return address.
Because for the interest of time, can I give you a suggestion as the game master?
Yes.
Why don't you just walk from house to house and check their mailboxes?
Because that's a little suspicious. You know what? Here is our cover story. We're looking for work and no one's offered it to us.
That would work.
All right.
So we'll go to the post office and say, hey, we're looking for work.
Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'd rather not rifle through someone's mail and get caught on mail fraud.
Okay. You're at the post office and the receptionist is there. She turns and points and says, check out that board. And it's one of those cork boards.
Cork
boards. And it just, there's... It's plastered over the entire board, pages upon pages that have been, handwritten out, printed, and it just says, looking for work, no experience required, great pay, and then it has
the address,
little tear-off strips.
Has a little tear-off strip, and it just has an address on it, and it says 24 McDonald Street. That's all it says.
Oh, in Guelph or in Owen Sound?
Guelph.
Okay. Well, all right.
Let's follow the trail.
Let's follow the trail. All
Easy
right.
enough.
All right. So you go towards McDonald Street.
Yep.
Head towards McDonald Street.
Yep.
Probably should
24
have asked.
McDonald Street. You show up at the building, and it's a little storefront. Think like what you'd have a recruiting office for the military, but smaller. More like it's like a sliver.
All right.
It's one of those.
Little
hole in the wall, so to
middle
speak.
of London sort of house between two other houses.
Yeah, exactly. You walk in, like there's no room for any bathroom. It's just you walk in, and there'd be a door that would open to go to the employee area at the back, and there's just a little counter with somebody sitting there. And it's just a little old man. If you had to guess, he's a little old Italian guy. You know, no name tag, nothing. And he's just sitting there, you know, writing in his ledgers, doing whatever he's doing. There's nobody else waiting there. There's a singular seat in the office. It is very sparse and empty. No signs on the outside of the building to say what the store is or anything. It just looks like it could be any small, you know, tax prep, bookkeeping service sort of building.
Let's just walk up and let's ask some questions. Hey, buddy, we're looking for some work, and we saw an ad at the post office. What do you got?
All he does, he doesn't even look up. He picks up a little clipboard, taps on it twice, leaves you with an ink pen.
What are you, mute?
Taps on it twice,
That ain't an answer.
hands it over. What he hands you is a board with paper on it, and it, in the similar writing to what was on the sheets on the wall, it says, "Looking for work? Fill out your name here, and you'll be processed."
So you got any info on what this job is?
Taps on the sheet again, wants you to fill it out.
I was like, well, I need drinking money, so I'm good with it. I'm going to play up that I still kind of reek of whiskey.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I need the money, so I'm going to fill out a fake name. I'll call myself Terry Wright.
That's all you have to put. That's all you had to put on there.
I write John Smith.
That works too.
I can't think of very good names. I'm not
Little old
too quick.
little old man looks up and goes, "Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for filling out the form. I'll be right with you in a second." He goes to the back room.
What a weirdo.
Yeah. writes out, you know, whatever he's doing in the back, processing something. You feel it seems kind of odd considering it's just the name you gave, right? Comes back with name tags already printed, and it just says janitorial services on it. Janitorial services with your names. Hands them back to you. And
Thanks.
and says, "Okay, you start in 3 days." And
Where?
Oh, right, that's right. You need to know where you're working. Oh, that's right. Okay, so it's in Owen Sound. When you get to the city, there should be a sign right. If you take the newfangled bus service. So this is essentially, I guess it would be Gray Line or whatever the Greyhound bus was back in the day. So it was the newfound. It's people get on it, and I guess it's chartered for this company. And the company, it just says Delta on it. Slightly different than the name that you received for, but it could be one of the shell companies that this other company was a part of. And it just says, you know, Delta Janitorial Services. The bus will take, and he goes, the bus will take you where you need to go.
All right. Any other information you got for me here? And kind of going in blind.
That's all I'm given.
How many people you got going through here?
Oh, a day or a month? I don't know. We've had 200-300 people come through.
Jeez.
Lots of work up there.
All right. Well, I look over at James over here. Don't call him James because I know better. I'm not that dumb. Should we go?
Yes, because you know what means drinking money means drinking and whoring, and I'm all for it.
Sounds good. All right. You sold us. Let's go.
Okay, and that's it. I'm out to lunch. And he closes up shop.
Closed.
I'm going to.
You still don't know what the business was that he had. It was sort of, as for background, it's one of those, he does anything. It's a bit of a employee resource planning place. It's a bit of a bookkeeping. He might run the numbers for the mob.
You just
a little
don't
Italian
know.
We
dude.
don't know.
He does a bit of everything. And right now, that's what he was hired to do.
I'm going to look at Jack, or John, in this case, and I'm going to say, I'm really not going to drink and whore because my wife at home would actually hurt me. So,
We got work to do.
exactly. But actually, make sure we're well out of earshot. So we'll walk outside into the cold, brisk February weather. You know who might have information up there, and I say this with no degree of irony. Literally, the whores. Lots of loose lips around women. People tend to talk. So maybe we'll find something. We'll find something out. Staking out one of the local prostitute houses wouldn't be a terrible idea.
All right,
And
well,
we'd be able to blend in.
let's see who else is on this bus. Let's take this bus and listen in close.
All right, let's do that. Let's. I guess we take our horses knowing sound, and then we
We have a
catch the
chartered
bus knowing
bus.
sound?
Yeah, no, you have a chartered bus now.
Oh,
So
okay.
screw the horses.
So you've got an escort right in.
All right, so if we're
And
doing
it's
this-
going to take you to the building.
Okay. Shit. We're walking right into the lion's mouth with no information. Do not like.
It'll take you into the property, and from there you have to.
Find a way to be sneaky.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
bus shows up. You're the only two people waiting.
Oh,
Hey, driver,
Driver.
where's everybody else?
You're everybody else. I just go on my daily trip once a day, and whoever shows up, shows up.
Why is there nobody, like... the other guy said there was 300 people. Why the hell is it just two?
In the last month or two, we get waves of people.
oh,
Uh-huh.
He goes,
Okay.
He goes, I drive them up, and that's it.
do we have our stuff with us?
Oh yeah, everything you can load it up. There's plenty of room on the bus now.
Okay. And he's
on
just the bus
on,
driver.
on this very rickety early 1920 bus.
Has no roof.
All right, then. So I guess we'll kind of take a seat towards the back of the bus.
And when I say bus, it's not really a bus. It's like those early military transport trucks where they've got like 14 seats in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically, for all intents and purposes, a military truck that's a civilian transport vehicle.
Okay.
No suspension whatsoever.
No.
All right. So
You feel every bump.
we'll take a seat, and we'll go up the lovely road that leads to Owen Sound, which at this point, for those of you who want a little bit of local geography, it's Highway 6 and 10. It's the only road, as far as I know, that's ever went up north. So yeah, we get to see all the beautiful sights and sounds of snow-covered landscapes.
Yeah. So we're gonna flash forward. Do 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 diddly do diddly do diddly do. Little Wayne's World in there. And you've shown up. You are at the factory. You're within the gates. Now it is, as you get driven in, you notice it's 12-foot fencing with barbed wire, which isn't out of the blue for something that is a facility that supposedly produces raw materials for the military.
Yeah.
So nothing out of the blue there yet.
What time of day is it now?
Because you've driven up there, it's by vehicle.
Probably about 5, 6.
It's about dinner time or so.
So are we expected to show up tomorrow, or we're there now?
You're there early. You get to stay there, whatever, but you don't actually start work for a couple days
Okay.
because it was in 3 days is when you started your shift.
Yeah.
So the idea is you have sort of free reign to do what you want to get settled in. If I could make a suggestion, you may want to not get familiarized with the people that work there, because then they'll notice when you're away doing something.
Yeah.
You may want to try to get your mission done as fast as possible.
Get in, get out.
Exactly. Get in, get out before you even started your work of being a janitor.
All right. So we got 2 days to get this done, Jack.
Or supposedly janitorial work. Yeah.
Do we notice any people in uniform when we're there?
You do, but they're just sort of scientists in their uniforms, as well as you don't see factory line workers or anything. It's
So
just,
nobody rank and file.
No, precisely. You don't see anything in that sense when you first walk in. When you're walking to the building, you're surprised that when you arrive that there's not really a welcoming party or anything. There's just, you're let off. The bus driver points and says, that's the entrance. When you get in there, you'll figure out what you need to do. And he goes, don't ask me. I don't know. I just drive people here. He drives away. You walk into the building, and there's a reception area, but no receptionist. It just has a big sign with instructions saying living quarters, which also would seem a little surprising to you that they're sort of expecting you to live there.
Yeah, live in.
Yeah, that's weird.
It says living quarters / drop off. So when you bring your gear in, that's where you would drop your stuff off where you're going to live, basically your backpack or anything you have. And then to the right, it just says work area. It seems oddly, for a company that's supposed to be producing a lot of different chemicals and raw materials like cement and building blocks and like this is supposed to be an all-in-one like steel production facility, everything. It seems it's very simplistic. Living quarters, work area. To your right is work area, left is living quarters. So you can decide which way you're going to go. And there's oddly nobody really around.
Now, because of the time of day it is, it's around dinner time. We don't see anybody, as you said, or at least just signed. Nobody rank and file.
No, you've seen a few people with clipboards. You know, the people that would be in the R&D department have walked around, but they're busy talking to each other. And it was only for a quick second. You saw them enter one room and go to another. And every room is clearly sealed and locked.
What do we hear?
Nothing. It's very silent. You hear the humming of electricity because it's well lit and it's old school electricity.
I'm going to say...
There's not really sound dampening. Yeah.
While we were on the bus, I'm going to say from here on out, you're John, I'm Terry. Just so they don't know our names. Because we never know who or what's listening. I'm going to go, well, John, we could bunker in for the night. Or we can go grab ourselves a drink.
What do you say we take a little walk around the building and just kind of get a lay of the land?
All right.
Stretch our legs a little after a long trip on the bus.
That's a good idea. And we'll just casually walk into the living area.
Because you're going to walk into the living area, so that's to the left of the entrance.
Yeah, we'll just take a look.
All right, so what you see is it just has signs, a long corridor with lots of doorways, and it says, dormitory 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one just says dormitory intake. So that would be where you come when you're first new there.
Yeah.
And you open up the door, walk in, and again you see a corridor of maybe 16 beds, and they're singular, very militaristic in the design,
like
very utilitarian. And you see they're all made up nice, but there's nobody else's gear there. So you have free reign to use whatever you want, but it doesn't look like it's been used in quite some time. It's kept clean.
And there's nobody else anywhere nearby.
Nobody else's belongings or anything, no.
Huh.
Shall we move along?
Yeah, we'll check out the other dorms. Try and be as sneaky. Actually, can I roll clever, or actually quick? Because quick is sneak, right?
Yep.
And I want to roll scouting with that, if you'll allow me.
You want to roll scouting with that?
Yeah,
okay.
because I want to be able to
roll,
recon
holy crap.
the area.
Okay, so I'm going to set a challenge. Let me see here.
I'm rolling my My Little Pony dice.
First
roll.
You're going to roll your My Little Pony dice, you said?
Yeah, my Pinkie Pie.
Pinky die.
Pinkie die.
We're going to have a challenge rating. So you said you're rolling with your...
Yeah, with scouting.
With scouting, so it's a +1?
Yeah.
You're going to have a challenge rating of 4 on that. So you're going to have to basically, with your thing, roll better than 4.
6.
Okay, and what was it you're looking for again?
I'm looking, basically, I want to be able to stealthily move between the rooms, look for any signs of recent activity, or if I do see someone, be able to shadow them, see where they're going, look for patterns.
Perfect, you can do so.
Okay. What do I find?
Each room it's basically the same as what you found in your first room. Like accommodations for easily 50, 100 people even. But well kept and clean, so they're not dusty. Like these might have been used, but nobody's currently living in any of the beds.
Because you can smell when someone's been in a room.
Correct. Like it doesn't even have that people smell. Like nobody's ripped a nice
very-
juicy fart anytime recently in there.
It's poetic. It's very sterile. Huh. Are there any other rooms nearby other than the dorm rooms?
Just the lavatory. So bathroom.
Poke in the
Which-
lavatory. Is anything out of place in the lavatory?
Smells clean.
Smells like bleach.
Okay. Weird question. Has it been cleaned recently?
No, about the same. We're talking at least a week or so. Since,
Okay. So if there's just scientists around right now, if that means there's a few people here, John, which means maybe we can get a lot of our stuff done now. But also
Where do
that
we
means
go?
the risk of getting caught.
Where do we go?
I'm thinking.
Think harder, damn it. That's your job.
Well, if we head towards the laboratory, that does give us some options. But once again, we're going to stick out like sore thumbs. So,
You think that, but it seems, I'll give you this. It seems that almost everybody there could have seen you when you walked in, those scientists, but they're not oblivious to it. They just don't take notice or don't care that people are coming.
huh.
Like they're more absorbed in their work.
And the scientists are just wearing dress pants, dress shirt, and a lab coat, more or less, right?
Correct, yes. Like a 1920s, 30s
They
doctor
don't look
would wear.
particularly out of place. Nothing weird. Just
No,
super
they're absorbed in their work, talking, and the only thing was they kept muttering of they think they're close. They think they're close. That's all they were saying.
Well,
Well, there's nothing here in this living quarters area, so we can either kind of skirt around the outside of the building, kind of check things out from out there, or we can just dive right in, head to the work area and see what we can find.
trying to think. I don't like the idea of us going in without a lot of intel, but then again, I also don't want this place packed full of people should we have to start doing anything rough. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know.
We
I
got
don't know,
name
John, what do you
badges. We got these name badges with us. So if we do get caught right now, we could just say, "Oh, we're trying to figure out where to go. We
Yeah,
just
we're
got
just
here. We don't know where
janitors.
we are."
So, I think John's got a good idea. We'll take a walk out towards the work area and just try and stay as low profile as possible, which I can roll scouting again. Now, can we combine rolls? Can I
No.
add a bonus to him?
No, for the sake of this game, no.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at the work area. We'll see what we see initially, and if it looks sketchy, we'll just beat feet and get out of here.
Let's just keep our heads down. Just keep a low profile. Don't look around, look like you look lost.
Yeah. Just look like we
Blend
know what
in.
we're doing.
Blend in a little bit.
So
Yeah.
you guys, you're gonna walk over to the work area.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Not
Well,
fling the door open, but just like,
well,
hello!
you're doing so, but we're gonna have to find out what happens next time. Next time.
Here on the
Cambridge Chronicles. Ooh.
World War One.
World War One,
The Warring 20s.
the Warring 20s, the Great Warring 20s. That's going to be a tongue twister.
That's right. So for this edition of the Cambridge Chronicles, I've been one of your players for this afternoon, Mike the Birdman Dodd from BingeWeeklyBeat.net, and I've been joined with my ever-faithful compatriot
Mr. Christopher.
and our storyteller for this afternoon.
Alex.
We'll be back, guys, right here on the Cambridge Chronicles.